Hi everyone. Today we look at consulting. Consulting क्या होता है? How to get a job into consulting? And without any doubt, I can say the most valuable job in a campus is getting a job into consulting. So we have two consultants with us and one ex-consultant with you. So and why people quit consulting as well? I can answer that question. कि 5 साल के बाद क्यों कानों को हाथ लगा के बंदा बोलता बस हो गया भैया निकालो मेरे को यहाँ से यार. We'll talk about all these things. So I have two questions for you. Prachi is from IIM Shillong. Jai is alumni from IIM Ahmedabad. Sorry, IIM Lucknow. And I am ex Jamnal Bajaj and I'm Ahmedabad. So consultant of two type according to me. One is a domain consultant. Like Jay works as a technical consultant and worked in PwC before his MBA. So Jay was is now more of a technical consultant. And Prachi is going to join one of the MBBs, and she is more of a management consultant. So management consultant basically in layman's language is a white collar job. कि सुबह टाइल लगा के आ जाओ कंपनी आपको बताएगी आज ये करो कल वो करो डिपेंडिंग ऑन द असाइनमेंट सो इफ यू वोंट बिलीव मी इन द फर्स्ट 1 year of my consulting life I have worked in a HR project, I worked in a finance project, I worked in inventory के पूरे यूरोप में कितना इन्वेंट्री है क्या नहीं है सो देयर लॉट ऑफ असाइनमेंट्स व्हिच वर देयर सो वी हैव टू क्वेश्चंस फॉर यू नंबर वन इज if I'm going for the MBA admission right now, so is it okay to say consulting for the interview? Did any of you say that? And how did you justify why you want to be a consultant? Or as your goal, you can say, I want to be a consultant. And second will be later on, we'll talk about if I join the college, once I join the college, so how to plan, how to prepare myself so I can get a consulting job. Because in every batch, all the top colleges, around 40% of people are going to get into MBB, into the consulting role, not MBB, just into the consulting role. So how to go about that? We'll talk about all these things. So Prachi, Jay, who would like to start? Your interview process when you were interview for the admissions at IIMS.
ठीक है सो आई कैन गो फर्स्ट सो मेरा तो लाइक आई वाज इन PwC तो पहला क्वेश्चन यही आता था कि डू यू वांट टू गो फॉर कंसल्टिंग और डू यू वांट टू गो फॉर प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट सो कंसल्टिंग मुझे तो पसंद था ऑनेस्टली स्पीकिंग यू वर्क विद लॉट ऑफ क्लाइंट्स बहुत कुछ नया सीखने को मिलता था बहुत कुछ पर्क्स भी होते थे जैसे रात में लेट रुकना फिर खाना ऑर्डर करके खाना तो
पर्क्स की बात मैं आई विल सॉरी टू कट इन पर्क्स मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ व्हेन आई वाज वर्किंग एज अ कंसल्टेंट 10 years ago our daily allowance was 3500 per day for the food 3500 तुम कितना खा लोगे यार खाना पीना इज ऑल इंक्लूडिंग इन योर होटल इफ यू आर गोइंग टू स्टे अब्रॉड इफ यू गोइंग टू स्टे अब्रॉड तो 3500 रुपए में रात को द वे यू सेड ना रात को 11 हो गया है ठहरे इंडियन ऊपर द एंड ऑफ द डे यार 500 रुपए बाकी यार खर्चा करके आना है कुछ भी करके आओ आइसक्रीम खा के आओ कुछ भी करके आओ बस खर्चा करके आना है पूरा तो दिस इज व्हाट आई लाइक द मोस्ट अबाउट द consultative life. And the best part was there was new client every 3 to 4 months. You're not getting bored. Yeah, sorry, Jai, continue.
मजा तो बहुत आता है मतलब ऑनेस्टली वोंट गेट बोर्ड एवर टू बी ऑनेस्ट तो कुछ ना कुछ नया करते रहेंगे एंड आई गेन्ड लाइक 30 kgs इन 3 years ठीक है इतना खा खा के सो
वेट बढ़ा तोंद भी आई और बाल भी गए दे आर ऑल पार्ट एंड पार्सल ऑफ कंसल्टिंग पीयूष हाय हाउ आर यू
I'm good. How are you?
good welcome on board so we have 4 consultants here 3 consultants and one ex consultant so Jay is talking about his story from the interview point of view so now we're talking about during your interviews what kind of a consulting questions were asked or if
so
you
in my
said
interview
sorry
the first question जो naturally आएगा कि why do you want to go for consulting why do you think you are fit to be a consultant so पहला question तो यही आता है you have to justify कि okay, why you are a good consultant what are your current skill sets जिससे you can justify that you will be a good consultant you will be working with a lot of clients how you will manage the relationship with these clients how will you solve their problems etc so most of the things are based around these only
correct
but probably Prachi or Piyush you are better बता पाएंगे because they are from a newer generation थोड़ा
yes
over to you Prachi and Piyush
Archie Piyush who
I
next
think Piyush can take up this question first.
Yeah, sure, Prachi. So yeah, basically, I feel there is a difference when we are giving the interview of our IIM college and when we are giving the interview of the companies. So that is totally different. In our college interviews, we are being asked question like why you want to be a consultant or what does a consultant do. So they are basically more interested in knowing about ourselves, that how this guy could make a career in consulting or a good fit for the college in the consulting domain or not. But if we talk about a company's interview, they do not, they just ask you some questions like how much you are able to manage yourself, or how much you are able to think about the industry, or how you can solve any problem. Like if there is a business problem, how would you go to solve that problem? एक structure है या नहीं, you are just randomly or asking some shit questions. So that is first difference I feel, that college और जो job interviews के questions होते हैं उसमें ये difference रहता है. Prachi, you want to add anything?
Correct. Right now, let's stick to the admission process when you are joining for the college admission के time पे. So my advice, if you are well bent for consulting, then you should say in the introduction only that as a part of your goals that I want to do my MBA in consulting. There's nothing wrong in that, but you have to justify that कि why you want to go into consulting, and don't say कि पैसा अच्छा मिलता है. You can't say that. So yeah, Prachi.
Yeah,
Yes,
Prachi.
apart from it, if a person is saying that they want to go into consulting, they should have a clear understanding of what does a consultant do in his day-to-day life, what task he pursues and everything. Just क्योंकि consulting बहुत lucrative सा sound करता है, तो I can't go and say in an interview that I want to be a consultant for admission purposes. For me personally, since I was a fresher and I completed my graduation in BCom, I didn't say that I want to pursue my career in consulting. It is very natural for me to say in the interviews that I want to pursue finance. So I took it from there.
Correct. 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 So
तो
yeah, if you
चार्ट पे
have, sorry, so
चार्ट पे क्वेश्चन भी आया हुआ है कि कैन आई गेट बिग फोर और एमबीबीएस फ्रेशर. सो देखो एग्जांपल है प्राची अभी तुम्हारे पास.
yeah, don't need to have experience. Yeah, what doesn't is not important. Trust me, to be very frank. Dhruv, yes, the spelling was wrong. I have changed that spelling now. Thank you. Can I get a big four? Yes, big four is the target. यार big four target करोगे तब जाके अच्छी जगह job लगेगी. To be in any college, if you look at that point of view. Now, my next question is how much academic record is important if I want to get into consulting?
It's
Prachi.
important to be honest. But yeah, Prachi, please.
I believe that decent academics are necessary. It's not a very much compulsion that you have to have like 999 or 988 kind of academics, but yes, a decent academic score is required to go into consulting.
Correct.
Just to add in here, what I would suggest that if in your 10, 12 and your graduation, if you have 7, 7, 8 also, there is a chance that you could get a CV shortlist. But if you have a 5, like in 50s or 60s, so that could create a problem. So please look into it कि 5 or 6 में नहीं हो. If you're in 7, 8, 9, you are safe.
Correct.
You
Correct. Correct.
I
And
have a
if
different perspective on this. We have a
okay.
different perspective. I've seen people getting shortlisted even with a 776 profile also. Okay, so basic जो बोलते हैं कि your CV should have a spike. So that person was very good in sports. He was almost in all teams of IIM Lucknow. So natural था, even got McKinsey call. And people were
Uh,
shocked कि इसको कैसे आया.
I
तो
want to add here कि I guess work experience भी थोड़ा मैटर करता है. अगर आपके पास relatable profile का work experience है, then
तीन
or
चीजें.
you can get a
Correct,
shortlist.
correct. तीनों चीजें. The way I've seen, I've been a panelist as well in selecting students for my company also. Either you have very good academic records or you have very good extracurricular activities. I've selected one student who have won 10 different awards in 10 different colleges. Who have been to the inter-college events and always win something. Very smart guy, academically very average. But yeah, because he has a very good acumen or won a lot of awards, so I chose him. So that's for second. And third, of course, experience. Like Jay is there who have 3 years of work experience. And Jay with PwC का work experience में अगर उसको मेरी company में आना है तो there is no question. आजा भाई तुम तो, because you already have that experience that obviously will help you to get into the job easily. Correct. So आने के बाद did you do any courses, any extra programs or courses which have helped you to get a job? Piyush, Jay.
I wouldn't say that I have done some extra courses, but in our college, when I was junior, I was in the first year. So the my seniors, the second year people, they used to give us KT, knowledge transfer sessions, in which they will teach us about consulting, how you have to talk in the interview, what is the process, what is the structure that you have to follow. And there are few books of consulting prep book, like from I'm Ahmedabad, I'm Shillong. Every college have some unique set of books, so we read that books also. So that was very helpful for us in preparing for our interviews. So that
Correct.
KT sessions and giving interviews to our friends and colleagues here, like please take my interview, you have to ask me a case and I will answer that. So that actually help us in knowing how to solve any problem.
Superb, superb. Great. So Jay, over to you now. So I want to get into consulting now. So please मेरे को एक रोड मैप तैयार करके दो आप तीनों कि how I can get into consulting. Over to you.
ठीक है, thanks sir. So probably I'll ask my questions directly to Prachi and Piyush. So guys, what do you think are the most important skills जो required होंगे consulting में जाने के लिए? What are the skills the interviewer or the panelist test you on? Prachi?
Yeah, what I think the first thing the interview test is that how much we are aware of any particular industry. Like the case will always be related to any automobile industry, solar industry, or any particular industry. So how much you are aware about that industry, about the revenue, क्या क्या उसके revenue है, what are the cost, supply chain, backward integration, forward integration. So that are the few things which I think a consultant should know, because हमारा काम क्या है as a consultant, solving the problem. And we are solving the problem of a client who is in that business for a very. So if we don't have any experience of that particular business, if we don't have any data, how could we support our point? So I
Yes.
think कि business का knowledge और data, that is something जो हमें हर समय याद रखना ही पड़ेगा as a consultant. Over to you,
Yeah.
Prachi.
Prachi, yeah.
I think that good communication skills also play a very important role in you getting selected in a company. Because at the end of the day, you have to communicate with people to get the clear understanding of the problem and to derive a solution and whatsoever. So that is one part which plays a good big role in getting into consulting. Apart from it, yes, I agree to Piyush that data analysis and a clear knowledge about the industry for which you are sitting in an interview is very important. Yes, these are the things which play a major role.
I would add one thing also here. This is relationship management skills. Basically, if you are interacting with a client, you have to build a relation, you have to build a rapport with the client. So उसके लिए ना यार बहुत important रहता है that you engage with the client on a personal level. So साथ में डिनर करने के लिए जा रहे हैं, साथ में घूम फिर रहे हैं, बातें कर रहे हैं. That's how you get to know more about the client, get to know कि उन्हें क्या चाहिए, what are the things they like, and then फिर आप उसे अपने मतलब not just like in professional way, आप उसको अब बाकी बिजनेस टर्म्स पे भी आप बिजनेस रिलेशन बढ़ाने के लिए उसको यूज कर सकते हो. You get more projects, you get more engagement.
I believe consulting is all about making connections.
Yes.
Good connections.
Yeah, good connections. Okay. So I had actually prepared few questions जो generally पूछा जाता है. So I'll just share my screen. I hope my screen is visible. Let me know if my screen is visible.
Yes, it's visible. Jay.
Okay. So basically, like the one question that I was asked is like how do you identify your client needs? How do you structure your approach when you solve for those needs? So Piyush, probably you can go first.
Yeah, sure. So, should I go bullet wise? Like, what does a consultant do? Why do you
No,
want
no,
to
no,
be a
you can answer the third question. So I think we have covered the first two questions.
consultant?
What does a
Okay.
consultant do? Why do you want to be a consultant? Long-term goals. So
In answering the third question, that what method do you use to identify your client needs? So the first thing that we do as a consultant is to find the actual problem that the client is facing. Like client आता है हमारे पास as a to the consultant, like my problem is that the profit is not increasing, or I'm not able to see a growth of 20%. My company has become stagnant. So that is actually not a problem. There's some problem in the company because of that, or there is some change in the demographic or external relation. Because of that, the problem is occurring. So the method that we use to identify the client need is to actually find the problem first. कि मेन प्रॉब्लम क्या है, रेवेन्यू क्यों नहीं बढ़ रहा है, कि रेवेन्यू नहीं बढ़ रहा है या कॉस्ट हाई हो गया है, कुछ मार्केट में चेंजेस आ गए, तो उसके लिए लाइक वी यूज वेरियस फ्रेमवर्क्स. Like if you go to any framework, the first will be SWOT analysis. Like we used
Mhm.
to identify key, if there is a company, we will do what are the strength, weakness, opportunity, threat, and if there is any major changes in the company, so we do some another framework like pestle analysis. कि क्या कुछ political changes आ गए, economical, technological, what actually changes have come to the company, and because of that the company is facing a particular problem. तो मेथड यूज करने के लिए पहले एक्चुअली वो आपको समझना पड़ेगा कि कौन सा फ्रेमवर्क यूज करना है, एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू द फ्रेमवर्क यू कैन आइडेंटिफाई द प्रॉब्लम. सो दैट वुड आई वुड से.
ठीक है. Prachi, the next question to you, like how will you explain a complex or technical issue to a client? So before you answer this question, I'll just give one of my examples. So I went to work with a client. ठीक है, उन्होंने अपना सारा डेटा दे दिया मुझे, एंड ही वाज लाइक जो करना है करो, बस अच्छा दिखना चाहिए. ठीक है, इस टाइप से भी रिक्वायरमेंट्स आते हैं तुम्हारे पास. सो लाइक नाउ हाउ डू यू एक्सप्लेन कि तुम क्या करना चाह रहे हो? There's a technical issue or there's a complex issue. How do you explain that to the client? Prachi.
I think before getting into details with the client, we should understand what is the knowledge that the client possesses. If I go on with the client by using very technical jargons and everything, and he is unable to understand, then it does not make a sense to him. So that is the first thing, that I should understand what is the level of knowledge that he or she possesses. Then I think that using the proper visual aids is very much important. When someone picturizes something, it is very easier to understand them instead of just making them understand with some bar charts, pie charts, or kind of paragraphs or data. That is what I believe. And then telling them about the impact is most important. And okay, I understand that you are doing something, but what is the impact that it will create? Impact is the most important thing in that terms, that I believe.
अच्छा, मतलब सुंदर पीपीटी बना के उस पर नंबर्स दिखाने हैं, सिंपल वर्ड्स में.
Simple words पे हाँ.
ठीक है. So moving on to the next question, skills I think we have covered. Next is the significant issues facing in this industry. So इसमें क्या रहता है कि I'll cover this question. So I think we already had a discussion on this. So उस पे क्या रहेगा, they'll give you a industry which is specific to your domain. So for example, if you're working with the banking industry, they can ask you कि अच्छा क्या क्या recent trends है, क्या क्या recent issues हैं जो अभी इस industry में है, and how will you solve for them. So they can give you a very random case. So say for example, if you're working in banking industry, they can come and ask you, okay, SBI is facing a certain problem. How will you solve for that? Simple question can be SBI का lunch break famous है. So लोग जा रहे हैं बैंक में, एसबीआई वाले सारे एम्प्लॉइज लंच पे गए हुए हैं. हाउ विल यू सॉल्व फॉर दिस प्रॉब्लम? सो दे कैन आस्क यू वेरी सिंपल क्वेश्चंस इस टाइप के, एंड यू आर एक्सपेक्टेड टू थिंक ऑन द स्पॉट, एंड देन यू हैव टू स्ट्रक्चर योर आंसर्स इन सच अ वे कि कैसे, मतलब तुम उनको कन्विंस करो कि हाउ विल यू डायग्नोज द प्रॉब्लम, एंड देन हाउ विल यू कन्विंस देम कि ओके ठीक है, व्हाई दिस सॉल्यूशन वुड हेल्प देम. सो ये पूरा प्रोसेस होता है. Probably moving on to the next question, how do you research a company or industry? जैसे अभी बोल दिया हमने कि ठीक है, they can ask you about industry. How do you research? You like, are there any resources, or how do you go about reading about that industry trend? So probably any of you can answer.
So what I believe that whenever we have to research about company or industry, if we have to research about company, it is essential that we research about the industry first, then we go to the company. Without knowing about the industry, if we are directly delving into the company, sometimes it can hit back. But if we talk about researching about the industry, so there are multiple sources in on internet that you can get an idea about the industry. But what are the areas that you need to know about that industry is that important? So, uh, Jay, are you there? Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes, I'm here.
So, if I'm researching about any industry, the first few things that I would like to know is the revenue, the cost, fixed cost and variable cost, competitors in that particular industry, market share of the competitors, whether it is an organized or unorganized sectors, how much growth are there, the CAGR, the compound annual growth rate of that particular industry in
Uh,
the future years, and how is the government legal and regulatory norms are affecting that particular industry, because these are the major I would say that pestle is the we have talked about various method, so I would say that pestle is one of the best way in which we could learn about any particular industry. And when we come to company, so in company you can use the SWOT analysis, because you're talking about a particular company, not about any particular industry. So you have to decide the framework, the method that you can use to analyze any company or industry.
yeah. So probably I think value chain analysis would also help in trying to
Yeah,
understand the complete value chain of the
the
industry.
complete
What are
process of the industry. Yeah.
yeah. ठीक है हाँ आई वाज बिजी लुकिंग एट द चैट डिप्रेस लामा भाई क्यों इतने डिप्रेस हो पहले तो ये बताओ डीप सीक के कारण वैसे हाँ वैसे यू हैव लिस्टेड ऑल द फ्रेमवर्क्स ऑलमोस्ट ऑल द फ्रेमवर्क्स इसके अलावा वी आर गोइंग टू conduct like we are going to cover a few more frameworks. So the first we'll cover is the profitability framework. So I think Prachi can cover this. Prachi,
Sure,
would you
I'll take
like to
this
give
up.
it a try?
Yeah, definitely. So, if we want to identify that whether the revenues of a company are declining or profit is declining, we try to implement this framework and understand what is the major cause because of which the profits are declining. So, profits are a function of two things, revenue and cost. For cost, again, we will refer to a different framework. Now we will try here to break down the revenue. Revenue is again a function of two things. Price into quantity is equal to revenue. Now, there are many things which are possible here. First, we will focus on quantity only. There are chances that if the profits are declining, so the quantity that the company is selling is declining. There can be internal and external factors which can lead to the decline in the quantity which the company is selling. We'll try to again divide the internal factors into two parts. First is that 4P framework which we are trying to implement here. Uh, Product is one thing, the offering of the company. Maybe it is not at par with the competition. Maybe the customers are not satisfied with the quality which it is offering, or anything is possible here. The second part is promotions. Uh, Maybe the company is not spending enough on increasing its awareness. Customers maybe the potential customers maybe are not do not possess the knowledge that this product exists in the market or about the quality. Place refers to that the mode of supply which the company is using is not appropriate for the product. Maybe the customers want it at their doorstep, but the company is selling them through their showrooms or something. So here is the place place comes into picture. So the other part is customer journey approach. Here we will refer to another framework later. External factors can be macroeconomic factors or industry level factors. Macroeconomic factors refer to political, economic, social. Basically, we will try to do a pastel analysis here, as told by the Piyush just now. And the other thing is that we will try to analyze the industry in which we are dealing. There are chances that the problem is at the point of suppliers or on the point of customers. So this is Porter's five forces analysis that we can do for this part.
I think very well covered. So basically इसमें ना मतलब तुम्हारा लास्ट आंसर है ये इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है. They would want to first look at your approach, whether you are breaking down each and every problem, you're asking the right set of questions. So problem solving approach is more important. ठीक है. Moving on to the next framework that we have. So इसका एक profitability का एक customer journey approach which Prachi had talked about earlier. So Prachi, if you can walk through this also.
Sure. So this is what how the customer journey looks like. First part is the need, that the customer finds a need to buy something. Need can be of any time, maybe it can be necessity. For example, salt, medicines, etc. That one should need them. Another is discretionary. For example, luxurious goods. A car. A person can travel by public transport too. But if a person is opting to buy a car, then that is a discretionary kind of expenditure. From need, if a person wants to buy something, it is they move towards awareness. They try to know the alternatives, the options that is available in the market. Awareness can be increased through either trade promotion or through sales promotion. Trade promotion involves sales incentive and channel incentive, etc. Trade promotion include these, and sales promotion include increasing their presence over social media or broadcasting about them, etc. From awareness, we move towards accessibility, how accessible a product is to a particular customer. It covers two parts: coverage and product placement. Uh, the product should be within the reach of the customer. For example, I am sitting here in Shillong and I want to buy a product. It should not be the case that the product is available only 500 kilometers away from me. It should be within reach to me. Then we move towards affordability. Affordability is something which plays a very important role. Maybe I need something, but again the question is whether I can afford that thing or not. It is breakdown into two parts. First is pricing strategy, whether we are charging a base price, that is a generic price for a product, or we are charging a premium price for the product. Are we providing any discounts for the product, or we are giving some loyalty discounts or some subscription based kind of pricing to the customers. Second is payment options. What kind of payment options we are giving? For example, there are some customers who try to make their purchases from their credit cards only. It makes it easier to balance their accounts. But some companies or some stores don't accept credit cards. So again, it poses up the problem for the customer, that how they buy it, and then eventually it lead to the shift to their competition. From here we move to the experience. So it is the after purchase experience that we are talking about. uh, how was my purchase experience, my vendor selection, if I go for example in a hotel, so how I felt after going there, the service time, the way the staff is behaving and everything. Post delivery, this is something which is more important in terms of, for example, electronic durables. If I purchased a AC, so how does the delivery took place? How does the installation took place and everything? And the final thing is customer service. What is the feedback that the customer is providing? For example, if I purchased a AC and a person comes for installation, so what is the duration of time for which I have to wait? Was the person easier to deal with and everything? That is the kind of feedback that we look for.
Okay, great. So probably I think you have covered it very well. Moving on to the next one. So we have market sizing or guesstimates. So Piyush, would you like to cover this? I think again this is one of the most important things that get asked in a consulting interview. So even when I was getting hired into PwC from my undergrad, they asked random questions related to market sizing, guesstimates. So guesstimates में तो बहुत क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, जैसे इंटरव्यू जहाँ से पूछ लिया कि अच्छा ठीक है ये इंटरव्यू रूम है, यू प्ले क्रिकेट, क्रिकेट बॉल से अगर ये रूम पे भरना है तो हाउ मेनी बॉल्स वुड बी रिक्वायर्ड. सो इस टाइप के क्वेश्चन भी वो लोग पूछते हैं. एंड इफ यू डोंट नो अबाउट हाउ टू अप्रोच दीज काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस, तो लोग समझ में नहीं आता कि क्या हो गया, क्या क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया उन्होंने, व्हाट विल यू आंसर. So market sizing or guesstimates are one of the most important questions that get asked. And Piyush, over to you.
Yeah, sure, Jay. First of all, I would like to say that market sizing and guesstimate are not only for consulting. I've given multiple interviews. I feel that I've asked the question of market sizing in my marketing as well as finance interview. And in consulting interview, you will find the question of market sizing. It is inevitable. Inevitable, you can avoid this. So, hey, kya, what is market sizing? So as of now, you all are a student. And मैं भी जब स्टूडेंट था, what I used to do, I used to calculate कि जहाँ मैं कोचिंग ले रहा हूँ, the institute where I'm taking my coaching, how much revenue that coaching is earning. I tried to estimate that. I'm sure that many of your students are also doing that in that particular coaching. कि we try to guesstimate कि there are 100 students who have applied for this particular course, the fees is this much, तो इतना revenue generate हो रहा होगा. We do not have any particular set of figures, but we try to guesstimate things कि इतने के आसपास that particular institute is earning. That is guesstimates. We are just doing guesstimate on the basis of some assumptions. So what is the most important thing in market sizing or guesstimate? It is your assumptions. What assumptions that you are taking? Suppose like I would like to tell you about this from a question. I think that will be more suitable. Like suppose if someone asks you that number of mobile phone sold in a year in India, try to guesstimate that. So how would you guesstimate that particular figure? You what are the key factors that you would take? I would like to think about this from the population perspective. कि India's population is about 140 crore. This is my first assumption that I'm taking. Then I would divide my India's population into two part, rural and urban. कि rural में 60% population है, urban में 40% population है. Then according to population, I can divide it into the income wise. कि कितने लोगों की income क्या है, नहीं है. And according to that, I could divide my figures. And I can come to a particular figure कि इतना guesstimate है कि इतना mobile phone India में sell होता होगा. So that is all about guesstimate. What I can suggest to you that there is an approach called MECE, MECE. Whenever you are free, Google it, MECE. You will learn very good facts about doing market sizing. Basically, हमें अलग अलग bucket बनाने हैं. लाइक वेन डायग्राम हम बनाते थे. इफ यू आर फ्रॉम द मैथमेटिक्स फील्ड, हम लोग एक वेन डायग्राम बनाते हैं इन विच वी डिवाइड द एरिया एंड हर एक एरिया का अलग वैल्यू असाइन करते हैं. दैट इज मार्केट साइजिंग एंड गेस्टिमेट्स. सो अब बात करते हैं कि इंटरव्यूअर क्या लुक, व्हाट डज द इंटरव्यूअर लुक फॉर इन गेस्टिमेट, व्हाट डज ही विल लुक फॉर. ही विल लुक फॉर द अप्रोच. वो उतना फिगर्स में इंटरेस्टेड नहीं होता है. आई एम टेकिंग एजम्पशन ऑफ 40-60 एंड यू आर टेकिंग द पॉपुलेशन एजम्पशन ऑफ 30-70 इनटू रूरल एंड अर्बन. वो फैक्टर अफेक्ट नहीं करता है, बट अप्रोच क्या आप यूज कर रहे हो, दैट वुड मेक द फर्स्ट इम्पैक्ट. एंड अगर मैं रूरल एंड अर्बन में डिवाइड कर रहा हूँ अपने पॉपुलेशन को, तो मेरा ये माइंडसेट होना चाहिए कि अर्बन एरियाज में मोबाइल फोन ज़्यादा यूज होते हैं, रूरल में कम होंगे. तो द परसेंटेज दैट आई हैव टू असाइन इनटू रूरल एंड अर्बन शुड बी डिफरेंट, सेम नहीं ले सकते. सो दीज आर द फ्यू थिंग्स कि एक इंडस्ट्री के बारे में या कोई प्रोडक्ट के बारे में बात हो रहा है एंड वी आर डिवाइडिंग द पॉपुलेशन, तो क्या फैक्टर्स एंड व्हाट आर फिगर्स दैट वी हैव टू टेक. वी हैव टू ऑलवेज कीप दैट इन माइंड. Does the final answer matter? Definitely not. If me and Prachi are doing the same question, we are following the same approach, I am sure कि हमारे answer would be different by 100% margin also. And it will be a no shame. किसी का आंसर गलत या सही हो ही नहीं सकता है. So
हाँ
that is
प्रूफ
all about.
करती.
The approach will matter in any case. So, like the thing that I have told about population divided it into rural, urban, and giving a percentage are from the demand side approach. But what if the interviewer asks you that suppose there is a Domino's in your area, how much revenue it is earning? तो वहां पे क्या करेंगे? वी कैन नॉट यूज की पॉपुलेशन मेरे शहर का 2 करोड़ है, तो 10 करोड़ मतलब 1 करोड़ लोग खाने आएंगे. We can't use that. So वहाँ पे if there is a question कि how much people can come and eat in a restaurant, we have to use the supply side. Basically, we have to find some constraint that if there is a restaurant, people will come, eat and have dinner. So number of sitting capacity in that particular restaurant is a constraint there. And from that the constraint, we have to identify the constraint, and according to that, we have to make our case. If there are 20 seats in a restaurant, so the maximum people that can come in that particular restaurant at any particular point of time will be 20. But there is no restaurant who could be 100% occupied. So morning में 50% occupied, evening में 70%, रात में and dinner it can be 90% occupied. So we have to give some assumption and we have to calculate a figure according to that. So that is all about guesstimate. And I would again say कि एक बार Google करना MECE approach, MECE, mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. Go and read about it. So you would be able to solve any market sizing or guesstimate question in a very good manner. That is all from my side, Jay.
ठीक है, I think very well covered. So abhi I think I have included only these three basic ones as of now, but probably like you can Google other approaches also, other frameworks also to help you in case you need. But I think interview पे इससे ऊपर नहीं जाते हैं. Correct me if I'm wrong, Piyush and Prachi.
No, मतलब the question revolve around the same. Just I would like to suggest one book here. It will help in the consulting prep and for the interview prep also in the consulting domain. So can I?
हाँ, you can.
So there is a book called The McKinsey Way. It is written by Ethan M. Raziel. So I would suggest that go through it. Online में मिल जाएगा आराम से. और मतलब एक बार पढ़ना वो book. It is actually helpful and it will tell you what does a consultant day look like and what is the work of a consultant.
I started with case in point. So I think सारे इसी से start करते हैं. Case in point में मतलब basic से you get everything and then you move on to more advanced level.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
ठीक है. Chat पे I can see a few interesting questions. So I think there's one question. A company is losing market share to a new competitor, but their current product is highly regarded. What would you investigate first to understand the cause? Piyush, probably to you.
Yeah, definitely. Jack, can you just repeat the question, please?
A company is losing market share to a new competitor, but their
Okay.
current product is highly regarded.
Highly
What would you
regarded. Okay.
investigate first to understand the cause? So I am guessing that the company who is losing the market share, we are talking about their current product, which is highly
Okay.
regarded.
Okay.
I think that's my understanding. So how would you investigate? Like, how would you understand the cause?
So firstly, I would like to ask some basic questions that what is the product? What segment does my product cater to? Like it is for adults, children's, or for any other woman, or what is my product? Then after knowing this, I would like to know that what new my competitor is doing so that he is able to he is able to take the market share of my particular company or my particular product. Apart from that, what is the my product is highly regarded. So the retention ratio that the same customers who are coming is will be like 90 to 95%. But what about the new customers? Are they also coming and regarding my product or not? So these are the basic questions first I would like to know, and from that I could develop my case. So I from the glitch or from the short narrative that you have given me, Jay, कि product highly regarded है but not able to retain its market share. I do feel that the retention ratio is good, but the company is not doing anything to cater to new customers or giving some attractive offer to the new customers, and that is because the company might be losing the share. But
Probably
I
there might
cannot.
be, yeah, probably there might be some new marketing campaigns or some new lucrative discounts that the competitor is giving.
Yes, yes, definitely. But before jumping directly to that, it is always advisable that you ask some basic questions. कि product क्या है, किस segment को target कर रहा है. So you can develop a case if you are wrong in your first hit and trial method कि ये problem होगा. If that goes wrong, you can think about some other method also or some other problem also.
The probing questions, basically.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I guess that's it from our side. So thank you guys for joining this session. All the best for your MBA interviews. Do well, rock it. ठीक है, कंसल्टेंट बनो तो फिर पिंग जरूर करना कभी लिंक्डइन पे, ठीक है। प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग की जरूरत हमें भी पड़ती है। सो चलो, बाय 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 एवरीवन। थैंक यू प्राची, थैंक यू पीयूष फॉर ज्वाइनिंग।
Thank you, thank you. Welcome. Bye bye.